Hello guys, and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. I am RoyalMixGaming, and today we're going to be going over Jadwiga and Nevsky garrisons, and kind of, is it viable for garrison or is it not? So we tested, not necessarily tested, but used Jadwiga in garrison today in our arc match, and some of the reports I'll show, I wouldn't say are 100% accurate. They're not one-on-one. These are rallies and garrisons where the rally's either getting swarmed, the garrison's being swarmed, or something like that. Like, I don't have both sides of the report, obviously, because this is our arc match, but I will say that from what I can tell, it's very viable to use Jadwiga and Nevsky. And in the next week or two, I will bring out reports of Jadwiga and Nevsky and Chandra and Nevsky after some of the wheels have passed, and we get some people that have maxed both of them, so we can test that out in like a more testing area kind of thing. But if you want to see some of the reports that we have, it looks fairly good. I do not know, like I said, if these rallies were swarmed or not. This garrison was reinforced, I believe, at some point a couple times to make the troops go higher by 200k most of the place. And then, but the report's pretty good. I don't know if this, like I said, was they were swarmed or not, the garrison or the rally. Garrison wasn't swarmed in that one, but the rally could have been. So this one is when Jadwiga and Nevsky get swarmed. There's a Tillicata swarming it. There's a XY and William. There's another XY and Nevsky rally hitting it, and it still gets a good trade, which in arc you don't really care. But if you look at the top, I don't really think there was a whole lot of reinforcements. We only had 2 reinforcements in this, so it wasn't like it was a lot of reinforcing. So as it goes through, it got low, obviously, because it's only 500k. In our arc match, just for perspective, we don't have 30 players playing, so it's a little bit harder for us to reinforce. It's something that we need to work on a little better, so we have better, the garrison topped off better. So these reports are saying basically like not a full garrison kind of report. So as this goes through, I think that Jadwiga and Nevsky is pretty good. I think that once we test them like in a one-on-one, you can kind of tell what would happen if it was just rally and garrison hitting each other. So as a swarm goes like this, it goes pretty well for the garrison, so the garrison always gets a good trade, which usually it should as long as it's mostly full. And just for perspective, let's see if I can get the buffs here. So these are the buffs for the garrison and for the rally. The rally has a little bit health a little low, but the health on both these rally and garrisons is about the same, so I would say that's like gear-wise, it's pretty similar because they don't both have a lot of health gear. I don't think that they have a lot of health gear because usually you would want at least 100% health. But it's not too bad. As you can see, it at least countered the XY and Nevsky. It's very possible that the rally was swarmed, though. This was not the garrison that I was defending, so I can't tell you for sure. For another report that we're going to show you, it was an Tillicata against the Jadwiga and Nevsky. I do not believe that this one was swarmed. This was kind of a lone rally that was sent. Most likely we didn't swarm it until it's Tillicata down, so it did pretty well. I don't think there was any reinforcements for either side. There may have been a bit of swarm at the end of the rally whenever it was getting low or something, but it seemed like it did pretty well against the Tillicata. I do believe that they're both max, so but the gear on that Tillicata is a little low. Not very good health gear on that, but it did do pretty well against that. Then we have some Jadwiga and YSS reports. This is a weird one. I don't know that it really matters. That Jadwiga and YSS did pretty well against Swarm, just like the other one did, but it was higher topped off than ours was. Then this one was against XY and Nevsky. Same kind of thing going on where it's a good trade, but the rally wasn't full, so it's hard to tell if that was a good report. And this last one I don't think it's a rally report. So I had some other ones where this is when we did Jadwiga and I think Saladin against the same thing. In this reports, though, this garrison was not reinforced very well, so all the reports that you see are basically not very good because some of them were not reinforced very well. And we're just going to kind of scroll through these as we go through. So even trade, kind of, if it's not reinforced very well. As you see, there was no reinforcements for this, and the garrison was swarmed, but we ended up defending it. I think that we swarmed this rally, so it kind of was easier to defend. But as you can see, Basically, Jadwiga and Nevsky is a very similar option to Jadwiga and Saladin or Jadwiga and YSS. So it's a very good option if you have both those commanders and you don't have XY to rally, or if you had Jadwiga already, obviously you're wanting to do a garrison. So from my perspective, it's a very viable option as we just scroll through some of these reports, because even though Jadwiga and Saladin, this one did well, very likely that the rally was swarmed. But these are just some of the reports, like I was saying, that we've done. And that was a bad trade because there was no reinforcements for the garrison. And then there's another one here. This was just some swarming, so nothing too big a deal. So once we can really test them in garrison, you will be able to tell it was really good. But in Arc, I think that it's a very viable option. So this was another report, but this one's more, there was a lot of swarming going on and not a lot of reinforcing, because there was absolutely zero reinforcements for us. Like I said, we had a lot of issues reinforcing, so this is what would happen if you didn't reinforce very well. And I think the last couple ones here are pretty similar options, with basically the garrison losing because we didn't reinforce very well and a lot of swarming. Other than that, they defended well on the obelisk against this. There was probably some reinforcing from us, and I think we swarmed the rally. But like I've been saying, just showing you some of the reports, basically I think that they're a viable option, and we'll test them in the future to tell you whether or not it is a more viable option even later, because it's kind of hard to get a good eye if it's being swarmed and the rallies aren't full, things like that. But I just kind of wanted to show you because some of you guys have asked about Jadwiga and Nevsky, is it viable? I do believe it is. So if you have Jadwiga and you don't have a max Saladin, but you max Nevsky instead, I think you could use that in garrison. It would do pretty well for you, especially against single rallies, because if you're doing past rallies and things like that, it probably won't do so well because it's like Jadwiga and Saladin. Anything past a single rally, it's not going to perform as well because it's only hitting the single target at once at a time. And if you could swarm the rallies with this whenever they are in garrison with Nevsky, it would do really well too, because you're getting the defense reduction on the rally. So like I was saying, I think it's a really viable option, Jadwiga and Nevsky together, but we'll have more like crisp and clear test results in a couple weeks. I just wanted to show you these reports because they're pretty telling in my opinion that it's a viable option, and it's very similar to Jadwiga and Saladin. So thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you learned something. Stay tuned for the next couple of videos in the next coming weeks on the rest of the test results, because I'll try to keep you updated, and I hope you guys have a nice day.